All the Terps do lately is just beat Texas.
Just beat Texas.
They just beat the Longhorns. That's what they do.
Tom Herman's supposed to be the savior in Texas, but it's not looking good.
Well, how good was that kid? Is it Jaysean
Jones, yeah.
Quite a debut for him, for the freshman.
Yeah, he looked like the real deal.
Throwing, rushing,
amazing thing for him
touchdown.
is, so he had 3 touchdowns in that game. I was driving around listening to it, and I believe Johnny Holiday said he only had 4 touchdowns last season in high school.
He was a 3-star recruit coming out, but I was just kind of looking into it, and he still had offers from like 30 different schools.
Right. So maybe he had a 5-star ahead of him. Because I figure if the kid's good for 3 in one collegiate game, he's probably good for 25.
He looks like he's
high school season.
He looks like he's really, really good. But some of those were kind of like wide open, blocked really well.
Right, and I understand the pass is kind of a fluky play.
No, but he looks like he made a big catch along the sideline. He's going to be a contributor.
But that one run, he just put his foot in the ground and cut right down the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, I was surprised. I was just surprised how much faster Maryland was than Texas.
Maryland looked quick.
I mean, this is Texas.
Yeah.
All right. This is a 5-star program, Texas. I mean, arguably one of the top 10 programs in the country.
It's a blue blood college program.
Man, they look like garbage in the first half. Made the comeback, obviously, but, I mean, Hill outplayed Ellinger. I just thought they were much faster at the skill positions. Defensively, Texas wasn't very good. Big win.
Terps,
big win
give
for
them credit. They played through, obviously, a lot of adversity, playing with heavy hearts, playing for Jordan McNair. They brought his jersey out for the coin flip at the beginning of the game. Yep. They brought his flag out. And they had to deal with the delay in a tight game. Give them credit. Give Matt Canada credit. He had them ready.
What was Ellinger throwing to on that last possession? I mean, just an awful throw.
He just threw into triple coverage and threw it high.
Oh, my God, it was terrible.
It's called a grasp.
Although he did have a couple nice passes. He did have a couple nice passes earlier. 1 or 2 of them to Johnson. Is that their big receiver? Can't remember who it was.
Yeah, he converted a 4th down before that. I didn't like
Humphrey.
It worked out. I didn't like that Maryland was rushing nobody.
They were getting there early on. They were getting there early on.
I know, but I'm saying on that final drive, they would just rush 3 guys.
Yeah,
it
may factor in like the heat, and those guys were probably gassed at the end of that game, even though they did have the break.
So I got some skinny on the Maryland stuff, and you know how we'd said that the talk was they really wanted to have this resolved before the first game. But here's the issue: apparently they're not finding any wrongdoing by Durkin.
Mm-hmm.
They want to fire him for cause, right? Just to move on, clean break. But they're on the hook for $7 million. And their investigation isn't finding a lot of the stuff. Apparently, even some of the kids are recanting what they said to the reporters. And other kids are all supporting Durkin.
Mm-hmm.
They just can't find this culture of bullying and demeaning. I mean, he pushed them. There's no question about it. And they were trying to change the culture there. But they're saying this whole idea that it was a bullying, demeaning, abusive culture. They're not finding evidence of it. They can't fire him for cause, right? But they also going to be hard to keep him because how can you recruit with all of this, right?
Right.
Everyone kind of wants a clean break, but that's $7 million they're on the hook for. They're not happy. A lot of people in the athletic department want to move on from Evans. They owe him even though he's only been there a few months, they owe him $4 million, and they're probably going to have to give the McNair family. They're estimating somewhere between $10 and $20 million.
Yeah.
They don't have that money.
So it's a $30 million paycheck.
They don't have that money.
Yeah.
They are in a bind, and they want it. They're livid. Their guns are trained on. That's a terrible cliche or whatever. But they're focused on Lowe because they're livid that Lowe went out and accepted legal and moral responsibility before the investigation was complete.
Yeah.
So they are in a freaking pickle.
Like it. Sounds like a tough spot for them.
A real pickle. But
you're right. How do you bring Durkin back? I mean, Canada just went out and beat Texas. You assume there's going to be
next.
You assume there's going to be some issues with recruiting. I don't know. I don't know what you.
They were thinking this would be easy. They'd be able to fire him for cause, and they're finding that they can't.
Right.
And that means $7 million. And he's like, give me my money.
Like we said, there's 2 sides to every story. And when this story came out, we said, well, yeah, I mean, there's a few players that are saying that it's an abusive culture, but there are also a bunch of players that are saying it's not.
And there's also apparently the family, and some people say, well, they didn't know, but the family was super supportive of Durkin. Had Durkin even eulogized McNair, that's what I was told.
Initially.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden they're demanding his fight. There are even text messages of the family being like super supportive to Durkin, thanking him and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It is a mess. It is a real mess.
I thought it was a great story, though, that Canada got that win. They get that win over Texas. They have Bowling Green next, get to 2-0. I mean, who knows what happens once they start playing the big boys. But could be a nice story. I mean, the fact is they lost their top 2 quarterbacks last year to torn ACLs.
And Hill is the real deal. He's got the big-time arm talent.
He's just big. He's a big kid.
Yeah, he's strong.
Well,
he's really good.
He was better than the Texas quarterback, that's for sure.
He's really good.